What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You're watching the channel Dr. Applesauce 2. My name's Will. It's another beautiful day in Texas, and I want you guys to know that I love you, that God loves you, and that there is an awesome, awesome plan for your life. Today, we're going to talk about all kinds of things Pokemon, some different things going on with Pokemon in stores, Pokemon Market, kind of the craziness that's going on with scalpers, and just an overall some really, really cool information and things that I don't see a ton of people talking about. If this is your first time to the channel and you like Pokemon, you like openings and news and stuff like that, I try and bring you guys 2 or 3 videos a week on all things Pokemon. So if you like that type of a thing, hit that subscription button and that notification bell. That way YouTube will tell you every time I put up a new video. And at the end of the video, if you have enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up because it's free for you to do and it really does help. Alright guys, so lots of crazy things going on in the Pokemon world lately. We know 25th anniversary, full in swing, Shining Fates, full swing release all over the place, Battle Styles coming out soon, lots of crazy things happening. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on first, and I want you guys to drop me a comment down below and let me know if you're seeing this as well, is that the resale prices for Shining Fates product is already going down. Now, one of the things that I've always said, and I've said in multiple videos, is that when the releases come out, the prices are going to be very, very high, and then they're going to slowly start to trickle down. And I'm going to use 2 examples to really, really show this to you guys, okay? So when Shining Fates first dropped, Elite Trainer boxes were immediately being sold for $140, $150, and people were paying these prices. And so it is, as of the recording of this, we are right at the beginning of March. So it's been about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks since Shining Fates dropped, and Elite Trainer boxes were selling for $150 right off the bat. Now you can look on any Pokemon group in Facebook Marketplace and some other platforms. People are listing Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes for $80 and $90. So you're already seeing a $60 dip in just 3 weeks on the Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes that people are asking for on resale value. And that's why I always would say, don't buy the hype right away. If you can, wait a couple weeks, because where at the very beginning when everything dropped and ETBs were selling for $150, now you can find them, if you're willing to look a little bit, for $80. You could have got 2 ETBs for the price of 1 on the secondary market. Paying $30 over retail really isn't that bad when things are super duper hard to find. And then the other example is right when Shining Fates hit, and right maybe even a little bit before the official release, the Shiny Charizard card, which is one of the best chase cards of the set. The Shiny Charizard card was selling for $2,000, and I would comment on in my Facebook groups that I'm in, there's no way this is going to stay that price. People would troll me. It's selling on eBay for $2,000. Yeah, it was, but there's no way it's going to stay that price. Now you can find the Shiny Charizard in any Facebook group or eBay. People asking around $500. I even saw somebody post on Facebook asking $375 today. So already within 3 weeks, we're seeing a massive decline on that price as well. So the prices on the resale market are going down on Shining Fates. And this is just a reminder, guys, there's always tons of hype at the beginning. And then a couple weeks later, you're going to see that hype and those prices go down. And we haven't even gotten into the 2nd and 3rd and 4th potential waves of Shining Fates. So there is more to come. So I found a video the other day from a smaller YouTube channel, and it was very interesting because this person recorded this and then did a voice overlay, and it showed everybody something that a lot of people don't get to see. A lot of people don't see, including myself. I've never experienced it just because I don't, with a couple kids, I don't have the ability to go wait in lines and see the craziness that happens. A lot of people haven't experienced this, but he recorded waiting in line as people were watching the vendor stock, and then did a voiceover of all of it, and then showed kind of the mayhem that happens once that vendor says, okay, you can actually get the stuff, and that is, these people were actually behaving. You can see Walmart employees, you can see the vendor, people waiting, and it just highlighted the craziness of what was actually going on, and just people like just taking everything. There's like one guy in the video that he's just going after sports, but he literally takes everything off of the shelf and probably bought like like 300 or 400 boxes of sports cards. And that exact thing happens with Pokemon. People will wait and just clear everything. And so I thought that video was a great example, and you'll see probably a little overlay or something here showing off some of the video. I thought that person did a great job showing kind of the craziness. Like, you see these people, they waited for hours and hours. One lady said she was there from like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then within seconds, the cards are gone. Within seconds, there's absolutely nothing left. And then you wonder why, when, you know, we just mosey on out to Target or Walmart, why we can't find anything. It's because the demand is so high that when stuff actually gets stocked, it's gone within seconds and within the first few people. So that was a really interesting video, and I highly recommend go watch the video if you want to. Like I said, you'll see it on screen. You'll be able to see the video title, the YouTube channel name, all that good stuff. And I stumbled across that, and I was just like, man, it's one thing to hear everything, and you see empty shelves and you see things go out of stock online, but I've never personally waited in line to see that craziness. And then it, you know, who knows how long the line was behind them, but past the first few people, they didn't get anything. So, and a great thing about this video that I thought was really cool is the guy who made it was probably in his, he's probably in his teens, and his little brother was with him. And there was a lady in front of him, 2 or 3 people in front of him, that said she'd been there for multiple hours, and she actually was able to get an Elite Trainer box of Shining Fates, and she walked up and gave it to his little brother, who was like 5, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, who wasn't gonna be able to get one. And that was one of the most powerful things of the video, guys. And that was something that I thought was absolutely amazing, is that in the midst of all the craziness, in the midst of people going and just like that dude with the sports cards, just taking everything, in the midst of all of that, there are still people who are kind and care. Somebody who waited for probably 6, 7 hours, took one of the things that she was able to grab and gave it to a kid. Because this is about kids. Because if we don't let kids get Pokemon cards, the kids are the ones that are going to carry this passion on into the future. And if they can't get anything to collect, that passion is not going to go on. That passion is not going to continue. And so that was just a huge encouragement to me, that there's still people out there that while one dude is just taking everything off of the shelf, the other person took out of her way to give something to the little boy. So I thought that was absolutely amazing. And the last thing that I want to discuss with you guys is a video that came out several days ago that was powerful and it was great. I don't know if any of y'all know who the YouTuber Frosted Caribou is, but she is a Pokemon YouTuber who does openings, and she's very charismatic and has a great following. I think she has around 50,000 subscribers, and she put out a video that was about 50 minutes long on her analysis of what is going on with the Pokemon TCG and the market, and she did a good job. It was kind of like half documentary, half YouTube video. And I was impressed with the video, and I agreed with most of what she said, but the video really impacted me, and it really made me think critically about a lot of things. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. You'll see, like I said, you'll see an overlay. You'll be able to go find it yourself. And it was well done. And I agree with most of it. There was just a few things about it that I feel like could have been elaborated on more, or not necessarily that I disagreed with, but I wanted to bring it to your attention because maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. She has a much larger following than I do, but you guys may not necessarily watch it. But her video was under the premise that essentially, we can't find anything in stores. And she did a great job of making a timeline and going all the way back to when Hidden Fates released, and kind of how Hidden Fates was different, and how Hidden Fates brought eyes to Pokemon TCG that maybe hadn't really been looking at it. And then the Logan Paul thing, and then Leonhardt doing a collaboration with Logan Paul, and then and she did a great job just doing this whole timeline and saying, and then now, boom, here we are. And so props to her for taking the time and doing this whole timeline. I thought that was absolutely fantastic to have somebody lay out kind of like, here's how things went down, and kind of what led us to the point where Shining Fates comes out and nobody can find anything, to where Pokemon Day is here and nobody can get Pokemon cards, where Pokemon is tweeting out, what is your one wish for Pokemon Day? And people are responding to that tweet. My wish would be to find Pokemon cards in store. And so we have to take an analytical look at what's going on, okay? I watched a video also by Twice Baked Jake, who is one of my favorite Pokemon YouTubers, and he talked about this as well, and I love his analytical and very, very intelligent analysis of what's going on. So we have to take an analytical look at what's happening with the Pokemon market and try and remove emotion from it, because this is an emotional thing for a lot of us. We want to be able to collect. We have memories from childhood, or maybe we collect with our children, or whatever the case may be, but we have to remove emotion so we can analyze what's actually happening and see, okay, what should we expect and what can we do to be able to collect the way we want to and maybe not get taken advantage of. So the thing that Frosted Caribou said that was the one thing that I partially agree with, but I don't really agree with, is the gist of it was this whole madness, the fact that there is nothing left for anybody to buy on stores. It's the sole responsibility and the blame falls on large content creators and Pokemon YouTubers. Logan Paul, but as well as a bunch of other large Pokemon YouTubers that all of you guys know well and probably watch, basically saying that we all feed into the frenzy of opening stuff and getting people FOMO on things and things of that nature. And while I understand that perspective, and there is an element of, yes, that probably does play into it a little bit, I don't think it's the main reason. There's so many other things going on with the pandemic causing the rise of popularity in Pokemon, then some larger YouTubers bringing light to it, Pokemon doing new sets, things like that, Pokemon not being able to meet the demand, Pokemon having to shut down for a while, things that I've talked about before. So that was one of the things that she said was the main reason. And one thing that she didn't discuss that I would have loved to see her opinion on is what will cause this to stop? How do we get shelves to stop being empty? And the reality is that for every new product that comes out, for every box, every whatever, there are multiple people who want that product. And you know, there's no way to tell these people, you know, you got to stop collecting. You can't buy this, you can't buy that. While we can say, I wish flippers would stop buying this. I wish scalpers would stop buying this. I wish investors would stop buying this stuff so I can get stuff. You can say that all day long. I can say that all day long. Me saying that isn't going to cause it to happen. But the reality is in order for shelves to get product again, people have to exit the hobby, okay? And I have talked about and speculated on the things that need to happen in order to cause people to leave the hobby. And reality, guys, reality is that we're probably a year to a year and a half away from that happening, okay? Pokemon is working on new printing facilities. Pokemon's gonna be working on new sets. Those won't be in effect for probably another year and a half. And we have to figure out how to cope with it ourselves. If that means not buying Pokemon cards for a while, that's okay. If that means waiting until 3 or 4 weeks after something releases so that you can pay $80 for an Elite Trainer box that is $50 MSRP instead of $150 for that Elite Trainer box when it drops the very, very day or a couple days after it drops, that is another mechanism, right? You can get Shining Fates Elite Trainer boxes for $80, $85 right now. You can get Pikachu V boxes for $30, $35 right now. MSRP on those is 20 bucks. You can get the tins that the MSRP is $30 for $40, $45 right now, when the day of everything was selling for 2 or 3 times the price. So there are ways to wait. Feeding into the hype and feeding into the FOMO and paying $150 for a box and then complaining about it isn't helping anything. You and I, we can't force people out of the hobby. We can't force people to not collect. We can't force people to not buy out a store and just rake everything off of the shelf like that guy in that video. But we can refuse to pay ridiculous prices for things when they first come out. We can refuse to buy into the FOMO, to buy into the hype and pay these crazy prices the day of, and we can choose to be patient and we can choose to be educated, because it's not very hard to pay attention to a couple different YouTubers or pay attention to a couple different, you know, Instagram websites that talk about news and things that are going on. Like Squeak's Game World is a great place, talks about actual information about things that are happening. Alpha Investments is a primarily magic channel, but great information about cards and people and companies that are printing these cards. Twice Baked Jake is another great informative channel that actually talks about the things that are happening behind the scenes in the business with Pokemon, not just the hype, not just the fancy shiny cards. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to pay attention to those things so that you and I can look and analyze and say, okay, yeah, things are pretty terrible right now. It's really sad that I walk into any store at any given time and pretty much everything is sold out. But I have educated myself and taken 10 minutes a day here and there, because we can all take 10 minutes a day. Stop scrolling Facebook. Take 10 minutes a day to learn something, right? Take 10 minutes a day to look into something that you love while you're on your lunch break eating your lunch. Don't scroll Facebook for 30 minutes. Pop on a YouTube video or jump on Instagram and try and learn something about what's going on behind the scenes with Pokemon. We can all do that and educate ourselves so that when these things happen and Shining Fates or the 25th anniversary set or whatever the next hyped set is that's going to come out in the next 6 to 12 months, when that happens, we can understand what's going on and look at it and say, I don't have to pay $150 for an Elite Trainer box, because Pokemon has announced that they will be, for the very foreseeable future, be releasing everything in waves. So while people are charging $150 for an Elite Trainer box right now, history proves and shows, because it happened with Shining Fates, it happened with Vivid Voltage, it happened with Champion's Path, that on day one, prices are going to be crazy. But give it 3, 4, 5 weeks, prices are going to drop to probably about half, to where you can get things for maybe $20 or $30 over MSRP. And yeah, that means you can't open up everything right away. And if you just have to open things on day one, then you might have to pay a price. But these are things that we can do that we can't change. The fact that people want to clear shelves. We can't change the fact that influencers with millions and millions and millions and millions of subscribers are bringing light to Pokemon. We can't change the fact that it's going to be a year and a half before Pokemon can ramp up the printing and try and meet the supply to the demand. But we can change the information that we know. We can change what we are aware of and the market trends that we see, so that we don't have to waste money, so that we don't have to be stressed out, so that we don't have to feel like there's no hope, because it's not true. There is hope. There is things that you can do. And I understand that I'm coming from a privileged perspective. I have the ability to be able to get a few things here and there. I'm not able to, get thousands and thousands of things, but I do have the ability to get a few things. That's how I can try and give away stuff to you guys. But even so, I still try and buy things. Pretty much the majority of what I try and buy is just like everybody else. I'm trying to get things in stores. I'm trying to order pre-orders and stuff like that. And the reason I'm able to do that and find the things that I find and not shell out crazy prices is because I educate myself and I do the things that I've said in this video. I watch a couple YouTube channels like Squeaks Game World, like Alpha Investments, who's, like I said, primarily Magic, but very informative on the card market, like Twice Baked Jake, like SM Pratt, people that really have good knowledge on what's going on with Pokemon. That way I can educate myself and know, okay, okay, so this is things that are happening in the future, okay, and then I pay attention to what actually happens with sets, so I can see prices are always high, and then they go down a couple weeks later, and then you can still, maybe you can't find the Shining Fates Elite Trainer box for $50 on the shelf, but 3-4 weeks after release, you can find somebody who bought 50 of them the first week and hasn't been able to sell all of them, and now they're trying to sell them for $80 when they paid $55 with tax. So you're looking at a $25 markup, which isn't terrible. So those are some of the things that have to happen for the Pokemon market to cool off. In order for things to actually be on shelves again, people have to get disinterested with the hobby, which will inevitably happen, and Pokemon has to create more supply, which is going to inevitably happen here in the next year to a year and a half, which probably will also cause some people to lose interest in the hobby, and we'll start to see a decline, and hopefully we'll start to see stuff on shelves again. But there are also things that you can do to educate yourself, and this is going to sound mean, and I'm not meaning for it to be mean. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love every one of you, but educate yourself instead of going on Facebook and whining and crying and complaining because you can't find anything. Educate yourself and understand, I don't have to have everything the first week. I can wait a little bit. Yeah, we may not be able to find things on shelves. I hardly ever find anything on shelves. Last time I found something on the shelf, it was a Darkness Ablaze single pack blister pack. But I don't go about whining and complaining. I don't go about lamenting, I can't find anything, everything's too expensive, I'm forced to pay scalper prices. Nobody's forcing you to pay scalper prices. I educate myself and I wait and I'm patient. And I didn't get my hands on Shining Fates for like a week and a half, 2 weeks after it released. And my encouragement, it's not, I'm not calling anybody out if you're upset about these things, but my encouragement is to educate yourself, to look at past trends with what happened with Vivid Voltage, what happened with Champion's Path, okay? How prices were high and the prices came down low, and you can easily find Champion's Path Elite Trainer boxes now for 70 bucks, 75 bucks if you want to get one and you can't find one in stores. And we may not be able to find things in stores, but there still are things that you can do so that you can get your hands on some Pokemon product. You might not be able to go to the store every Friday and just buy tons of product, but if you truly love the hobby and it's something that's important to you, collecting or playing the TCG, there are ways that you can get your hands on product, not break your bank, and maybe you're not able to buy as much as you'd like to, but there still are ways to enjoy the hobby and have fun as we wait for Pokemon to be able to increase their printing capacity and maybe wait for things to level out and actually be able to see things on shelves again. All right, everybody. Well, I hope I earned your subscription today. I hope you'll check out some of these other videos right there. And if you haven't already, hit that subscription button and that notification bell. And like I always say, my friends, find somebody to love and serve and be the change you want to see in the world. We'll see you next time.